So that's 13 dominoes. Now I'm going to ask you a question. In his experiment, the first lead domino was 0.5 centimeters, right? So in my experiment, so that's the height of the domino. And this is the numbers of dominoes. And this is a domino. So 2 inches. The first domino is 2 inches high. I'm going to take you to when there are 18 dominoes. And then we will go to 23 dominoes. I'll go to 31 dominoes, and finally I'll go to 57 dominoes. This is scientifically proven. So I want you to hazard a guess. When it's 18 dominoes, if the first domino was 2 inches high, how high would be that domino at number 18, which will fall? Any guesses? Actually, it will fall very easily. It doesn't need 18 dominoes because it is already leaning. It is a leaning tower of Pisa. That is how high that domino will be. इसको तो ज़्यादा time नहीं लगेगा because it's already टेढ़ा. So at 23, as high as the Eiffel Tower. But you started with 2 inches. Gentlemen, ladies, 2 inches is this much. At your 31st domino, you will go not just to Mount Everest, but you will go 3008 feet higher than Mount Everest. That is the height of the domino which you will drop. You started with 2 inches. And finally at 57 dominoes, you will reach the moon. That is the power of that first step. That is the power of that first domino. So please take that first step. Don't worry. You don't. I mean, is it all like in 2 dimension like this, only success? No. This road is very hard and difficult. It's paved with all the other issues which I spoke about, but it doesn't matter. It might not happen in your lifetime, it will happen sometime. When we do all of this, I want you to then imagine the possibilities, and we'll go to what that young lady said. She said, I see the horizon as the universe. The universe is your limit. Just imagine the possibilities. That is the power of straight lines to unseen possibilities. I spoke about God whispering in your ear. Now whether it is, can you tell me somebody whose first name starts with Ludwig? He always carried a notebook. As did Madame Curie. As did Albert Einstein. As do a lot of very great people. Always carry a notebook. Because when God whispers in your ear, please write it down. If you don't write it, good chance that you will forget it. So that is the great lesson of how do we make this spectacular change. Carry a notebook, a diary, a recorder, some form of a note. When you finish that first book, take out that second book, and whatever you think is still alive from that first book in your mind, or you wish to do, transfer it to the second. By the time you reach your third book, you would have already started acting on that first idea, and it will be well into production stage. That is the power of making a note and keeping, tabs on what people say, what you see, what you come across, and what God has whispered in your ear. Towards the very end, I have to ask you, most people know what it is, sir. Can you tell me, sir, what are there on the headstone of grave? An individual's grave. Ennallarko. You don't look at that, just talk to me, sir. Correct, my name, okay. What did I do? I was a great poet, I was a painter, singer, whatever, actor. Correct, my date of birth, my date of that, then maybe something from the Bible or religious text and so on. So here lies a good father, brother, son, and the mother. So in some school or college audiences, they tell me, sir, there will always be flowers because there's a flower on this photo. So it's okay, there are flowers also. Now you studied English also, sir? Grammar? Nanna Parchila? Illa, kya kare, sir? I'm asking. Nanna Allana, I will go somewhere. Parchila liya? Inna, sir, what is this red thing? Grammar, what symbol is this? Red. Left side. Hyphen. Oh. Another word for hyphen? Dash. So what is there between the date of birth and the date of death? It's a dash. So where are you now, sir? You are in your dash. So on this gravestone, which has captured the entire person's life, did you choose the day you were born? Did you choose the place you were born? Did you choose the people you were born to? Will you choose the day you die? Will you? The Commissioner of Police is listening, sir. It's illegal. So the argument is, the only thing that you control in the entire story of your life is the dash. Is the period between your birth and your death. So I'll show you a little 8-minute video which you will enjoy seeing, hopefully.
It is important how you travel this journey. Do it with dignity, do it with pride, do it with joy, do it with happiness. Make 5 others happy today. Make 10 others happy. Make 20 others happy. People, you don't need your name on a plaque or a building. Your actions will live long, long, long after you live. Somebody said, live your life in such a manner that long, long after the curtain has dropped, the applause continues.
What is it that binds a nation? Is it the power of its industry? Is it the wealth that we are able to generate? Is it the medical facilities that we have? Is it the educational levels that we give our men? What is it that makes a nation? My view is very simple. It's a shared idea of what a nation must bring. When the shared idea and vision is common, you will have a nation homogeneous or heterogeneous. Since we are such a diverse mix, we need to make efforts to put into the fabric of this country the cement that will make it a nation. That is what the army does best. We are in many ways the very guarantor of the idea of India. But through all this, there is one reason all this happens. It's because of the soldier. What does the soldier do? Hell, high water, the deserts of Rajasthan to the highest mountain peaks over 15,000 feet, forests, jungles, rivers, cities, counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism, hungry, unclothed, overworked, he will serve with a smile. I stand here and speak to you on the shoulders of the millions of soldiers, sailors and airmen. Soldier, let me tell you a small story. And I will recount it as I walked through that gentleman's life. It was probably 2003. And I was a lieutenant colonel. We were deployed in a difficult area. And they would, so about 2:30 in the afternoon, I got information from a local source that in X village there are 5 militants. So I got through to that company commander on a high frequency radio set because it was a distance away from me, and I told him, man, so many villages, so many militants, go. Now was that my plan of action? Yes. So was I smoking a pipe and standing on a model and moving, little pieces around before I made the plan? It doesn't happen in real life. When it comes to terrorism and militancy, that is contact. You act, you'll succeed. At about 5 o'clock, I got a message on the radio set. This is a message which nobody likes to hear. So the message I got was, Sab, bande ko goli lagi hai, which means one of our men has been shot. To me, that is failure. It means on my watch, nobody must get shot. 2 people have a weapon, somebody will get shot. But if somebody gets shot because I have been inadequate in my planning, in my commitment, or in my haste to take a decision, then I must be hanged for it. That is a failure of leadership. The next day morning, a helicopter came and picked up the casualty and took him away to the hospital. We stayed in that village for 5 days. 5 days and 5 nights. He searched that village. Came back to base. Anyway, got through to the hospital, got through to the ward where he was admitted. A nurse picked up the phone in the ICU and I asked her, start again. I asked her, how's my soldier? She said, sir, his femur has fragmented at 2 places. Now please understand, the doctors here may know, when you break a bone, it breaks like this, clean. When it fragments like this, multiple pieces, which is why there was blood all over on his leg. So femur left 2 places. Keep a long story short, he had small holes on the left side, but he had a hole the size of a baseball on the right side. The fact is that when he was put into the helicopter the next morning, his entrails and inside were put in a little polythene bag and put inside the helicopter. When he fell, his chest hit a rock. Like that. Now, those days the bulletproof vest was a sheet of iron. So the iron, when it hit his chest, 5 of his ribs got fractured. So I said, put the handset near his ear. The transmission of the good wishes of so many of our men, which I will relay to him, will help him better. Put the handset near his ear and said, sir, you can speak. And I asked him, Nimbaram! That Nimbaram is from Sikar district in Rajasthan. And I asked him, Nimbaram, how are you, son? For about 15 seconds, there was no response. And I was about to put the handset down, thinking that, either he can't hear me or he can't speak, or both. But just as I was about to hand over the phone, the operator, the handset, he said, sir, पेट में थोड़ी सी तकलीफ है, which means after all these injuries, he's telling me I have a small ache in my stomach. I didn't know what to say. And then I heard him say in a feebler, thinner voice, कि साहब पलटन के बाकी बंदे कैसे हैं? This man is dying and his concern is for the well-being of the rest of his team. This is priceless. This is the soldier who works for us day in and day out. And I have absolutely no hesitation in saying, ladies and gentlemen, for our today, he gave his yesterday. For our tomorrow, as I speak, he's giving his today. So at the end of it, ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of the Indian Army nation building. This is the story of our soldier.
You are challenged to be the architects of a future. That's your challenge. Now what happens if you don't take up this challenge? You can choose to remain the defenders of a certain decline. So when you go back to your college, please ask anybody who's studying anything, what is the new thing that you have created in your 4 years here? If there is nothing, tell them you're a shame on this college. Nine CGPA is useless. You can't give me a process or a product, then you can keep that 9 with you. It's meaningless. You will then get a job and do somebody else's job. That's all. Create that something. This is true of every college. You just happen to be there and Prabhu is a dear friend of mine. So it's true for everybody. Find that new thing, create that new thing, and it'll help somebody else. Because when we look at leadership, change, progress, growth or happiness, they're all inside jobs. Nobody from outside is going to come and give us that extra inspiration. It'll come to you, it'll come from you, from your heart, from your mind, from your brain, from all that exploit it. Sometimes you take inspiration from others, take it, don't be ashamed. Sometimes you take inspiration from your team, which is also fantastic. Wow, we're stuck here. Yeah. So, I should have actually shown you this view first. Let's repeat the exercise, although you've gone ahead and... Now I want you to play with me because you go on, shut your mind to it, let your brain do the work, yeah? Now give me a voice response. Do you like this view, yes or no? Yeah. I have spoken for the last hour at 500% energy, and look who's dead. Let's do it once more. Do you like this view? Yes. Slightly better. I would have dropped a few lights and all. Mali would have paid for it, I'm sure. President of MMA. So, but after having listened to me, this is the only view you must be satisfied with. This is what the brain wants to see. Look for that extra. Find that extra. Chase that extra. It'll happen. Now, this is my wish and prayer for all of you, including those who are watching online. May your life always be filled with views like this. May you always be challenged. But at the very end, I have to tell you that so far, whatever I've told you, you say, Baba, so many things, how am I supposed to do? There is one category of people. We must all be in that category sometime. When you look at something that is not explainable and you don't ask why, you don't ask what, you just go, wow. Because that magic, that childlike enthusiasm of seeing something which you don't understand, that joy is priceless. If that joy is lost, then you will never be able to ask why. So give yourself that joy sometimes in some places on some activities and just say, wow, that is very much like, logic is tragic because it has no magic. That's awesome. I love this quote. So all the logic that I've said in the last 1 hour is very useless, but this is also important because everybody cannot chase that, unseen. Don't expect it. Where it is possible, don't fight it. That's all is my request. Look at the shooting star and say, kya baat hai. Look at the spots on the moon, see it in close-up and see, fantastic. Everything you don't have to try and understand. And that says it very beautifully, for your peace of mind, please don't understand everything. But understand a few things very well. That's very important. So for a child, there are no 7 wonders, 8 wonders, architectural wonders, natural wonders. There are 7 million wonders. Everything that the child sees is a wonder. And you must retain that childlike, innocence in enjoying things that you see for the first time. So it's important to see today. What you smell today. Smell a beautiful flower, stop and enjoy that fragrance. See a caterpillar crossing the road, stop. See that onion pakoda frying at 5 in the morning, stop and eat it. It's okay. Temple bell. First Aarti in the morning, stop that cycling. You're not running for the bloody French, whatever that cycling is. You're cycling for fun, listen to the temple. Church bells, stop and listen. That's the joy of life. That will make your cycling next day even more fun. Otherwise you're useless people. So this is something new, and you may now please take out your phones and take a photograph here if you wish. This is how you can reach me. This is my Instagram, I'm told I must use the word handle. I didn't know. In fact, one college kid taught me and said, nobody uses the word Instagram anymore, it's IG. I come back to you. So this is who I am now. I'm very happy for any comment or any disagreement at the end of it. I think Harish wants to say something. 2 doors, you have to open them. They can't be closed. Open the doors. Don't keep closed doors, because beyond the 2 doors were those children in that window who were looking outside that window. That is what is behind those doors. Yeah? Goodness. At least one person has been paying attention. Yeah, I have finished. Thank you very much for being a patient audience. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you all can raise and give a standing ovation for our finest lecture. You all heard, and we have more 800 viewers watching online. Thank you. And a lot of questions, but due to paucity of time, I think may I now request Mari to please step forward and do the honor. Shiv Kumar, you can also join us. Other company members, anybody available, Sundaram, come and join us, please. On the stage, President Mohammed.
Take 2 questions from this audience. Only from this audience, take only 2 questions. Quickly, and wrap it up quickly. Yeah, please, let's do it. Because otherwise we're dishonoring them. And just dishonoring them. Come. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I just want to take two questions because
Yes,
it might not be polite to the audience who's patiently listened in. So I request you to please sit down for a moment,
Yeah,
please.
gentlemen, kindly take your seat.
Please sit for a moment. Yeah.
We'll let you go in another few minutes, 2-3. Here's a question from Naveen Karthik from Kadlu. He says, how can individuals across different stages of life, including senior citizens and corporate leaders, continue to explore endless possibilities and nurture their growth mindset and lead a healthy life?
Okay, I think it's an awesome question. It sums up pretty much everything. I think the first thing is to believe that it is possible to grow. If you don't believe that it is possible to change and grow, you will never grow. So first thing is to believe. The second thing is to listen. Not just to that God's whisper in your ear, but to listen to people around, to read and see what is happening in the world. That's the second thing. The third one is to either acquire that knowledge or surround yourself in the employ of people. If you're a corporate leader, you outsource the expertise. There are enough people who are well-read. Solicit their advice, but you use your judgment to make the right call. And you keep doing this constantly, and you'll soon find that every day is a discovery. The more you encourage people, the more people will come up with newer things, and that is the magic of this life's journey, I think. So thank you very much.
The next question is from Sandeep from Chennai. He says, how do you strike a balance between being realistic about challenges and staying idealistic about your goals, especially in high-stake corporate decisions?
The only thing at stake is your brain. The higher the stake, the greater the return. So what happens when the stakes become very high? You then go through a very scientific process of mitigating that risk, which is now done not with your brain but with your mind. And this is where I said at some points you have to tamper what your brain is telling you with what your mind tells you. There has to be a delicate balance between the two. When the mind is telling you it cannot be done, you should not pursue it because you believe in it. Maybe the time is to wait for a little more and to gather some more knowledge, or to create more resources, or to build greater organizational strength to be able to confront the challenges that come across in your ideological pursuit. If you just pursue it blindly, then we will all fall down into the ditch. So I think that balance is critical, and that is a leadership function, and also Sandeep a matter for the next conversation.
Two last questions, sir. One is from Mr. Jay Singh from Trichy. He says, how can corporate attract military talent to join laterally for higher positions? What's your advice in this context to the aspiring leaders from the military?
So, Jay Singh, you're giving me a job. You have my coordinates. You can reach me. So, there are enough people, men and women, who worn a uniform, who retire every month. Some of them look for employment. Some of them don't. I think you should start by reaching out to people who are connected with your industry, because we have so many specializations in the armed forces. Reach out to people, and I think LinkedIn, now that I'm learning about LinkedIn, seems like a great opportunity. Today I stumbled across a LinkedIn group which is for veterans recently retired. So I think you will find enough people who share the same ideology. But my request to you is, give a veteran some time, because that person has not spoken your language, he's not worn your clothes, he's not done the thing which normal civilians do for a large amount of time. But he or she comes with a wealth of experience. You have asked this question. There is a gentleman who's wearing a tie and standing behind the mic. He's a veteran of much more service than many of us have. But he's now a consummate corporate advisor and a guru. But it's taken some time to do it. So give him that or her the time, and they will produce outstanding results.
Good, sir. As you said, think big and act big. One last question for the evening. Having been seriously wounded in operations, how did you maintain resilience and focus to continue leading effectively? What advice do you have for overcoming setbacks to young people who are in this audience? This is a question from Parthiban from Tambram, Airport Base.
So, Parthiban, getting wounded seriously or otherwise in operations is part of our job. So when you enter that operational zone, where you enter that site, when you enter that physical place where the contact is taken place and the operations are undergoing, you know there is a great probability of your getting shot, wounded or killed. Any of the three. It happens very quickly. In the armed forces, in the army in particular, there is a fantastic succession plan. We don't make a noise about it. There is no big group of lawyers who wear fancy bright red ties and come and draft a document. But the succession plan is automatic. When the leader is not there, the next person who's senior most automatically becomes a leader, and that keeps going to one, till you reach the last and junior most person in the army who joined yesterday. And the first lecture that I would like to give him is, look at the mirror and you are a leader. Now, before you got into the operation, you translated your vision and the manner of execution of this operation to everybody who takes part in the operation. When I was a very young officer, we had a piece of advice from a senior major, and he told me, Arun, your briefing for this operation must be such that a blind man can go along and execute the operation. That is how vividly the operation must be related. This is the power of communication in leadership. And the attention to detail. And the fact that everybody in the team is as important. These are multiple lessons of leadership. All these happens when they come together. As an individual, you may not be resilient enough. But the sum total of 1 plus 1 plus 1, if you are 10 people in your team, is no longer 10. It's not even 100. It is 10 to the power n. And that power n is that intangible component which is called leadership, bonhomie, camaraderie, bonding, all of the above. So that is how it works in the Indian Army, but getting shot hurts.